Working with batteries can be dangerous, unless you avoid some of these mistakes. Let's dive in. This might seem to be the obvious point to start, but remember, the negative cable on the battery is connected to the bodywork, effectively grounding the car. So if a tool accidentally touches the grounded part of the car while you're working on the positive terminal, it can create a short circuit. This can lead to sparks, damage to electrical components, or even battery explosion. Always start with a negative cable first when removing the battery, and always connect the negative cable last after installation. The negative cable can be identified as follows. The negative post on the battery will be marked with a minus sign and maybe even some negative terminals. The negative terminal and corresponding battery post is visibly smaller than the positive. The negative cable is usually connected to the bodywork, and it's usually a black cable or it has a black cover. An unsecured battery can shift or slide while driving, which may damage battery terminals, cables, or connectors, potentially leading to electrical failures. If the battery moves or bounces and its terminals come into contact with metal parts of the vehicle, it can create a short circuit. This can result in sparks, battery damage, or even a fire. It can lead to physical damage, which may cause the battery casing to crack or rupture. This can result in battery acid leaking, posing a risk to the vehicle's components and the environment, and can also be hazardous to health. But most importantly, a heavy unsecured battery can become a projectile in the event of a collision or sudden stop. This poses a serious risk of injury to vehicle occupants. Make sure the vehicle is fitted with the correct securing mechanism, or use a temporary securing method until the correct one can be sourced. Reversing the connections on a car battery, connecting the positive terminal to the negative, and vice versa, can lead to internal damage or failure. Modern vehicles have complex electronic systems that can be severely damaged by reverse polarity. This can lead to costly repairs and replacement of components like the alternator, fuses, and onboard computers. Remember that the terminals differ in size, so if a terminal is unusually loose or unusually difficult to fit over the battery post, make sure they're in the correct orientation first. Using a hammer or tool to knock the terminals over the battery posts can damage them since they're made of lead, which deforms easily. This can lead to bad connections or even loose terminals, causing all kinds of electrical problems. It can also damage the battery internally. Although the battery can handle shock and vibration from driving, they're not designed to withstand impact directly on the battery posts. This can also damage the seal between the plastic casing and the lead post, which can cause acid to leak and accelerated corrosion of the battery terminals. Rather use a tool to pry open the ends of the terminal, like a flat screwdriver, while pushing the terminal down with your hand. Over-tightening the terminal nuts can lead to stripping the threads away, leading to loose connections and the headache of replacing the terminals. Not tightening enough causes a bad connection, leading to starting issues, inconsistent idling, and improper charging of the battery. A good rule of thumb is to tighten the terminal nuts just enough so that the terminal can't be moved by hand when pushed. If it's still loose after tightening it fully, check the following. Make sure the terminal is positioned as low as possible on the battery post. If the lead is deformed on the battery post, try and tighten the terminal at a different angle, or use a thin flat metal spacer between the terminal and battery post. In conclusion, it's crucial to follow proper procedures when handling your car battery to ensure safety and reliability. Always remove the negative cable first to prevent short circuits. Make sure to securely fasten the battery to avoid movement that could lead to damage or injury. Reversing the connections can cause serious electrical issues so double check polarity before connecting. Use the right amount of force. Too much can damage the terminals or the battery case. And lastly, ensure the connections are tightened correctly to maintain a reliable electrical system. I hope you found this video helpful, so please consider subscribing. Until next time.